I believe this color is called avocado. It's always cool right here. I like this cross stitch pattern. We have zero interest in eating them. What happened?
Nothing.
Come on. I'm kind of just making it feel like a little garden room. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I apologize, it's been longer than I would like for it to have been. It's just been a lot of things getting in the way lately. My goals with YouTube are very long term, and I really am concerned about getting myself burnt out. So my kids have been home lately and the heat has been crazy. The few times I've tried to film, my phone and my camera have overheated within just 2 or 3 minutes outside. That's why I'm starting out inside today. I want to show you a few exciting changes and additions to the farm and just update you guys on progress with some of the areas that we've been working on, and then maybe a little reality check because I've gotten a little bit behind on some things like weeding. Things that have been making it hard to film are things that are always gonna kind of pop up, and I think it's more about my ability to incorporate filming. I would like to know if you have a YouTube channel and you're watching this, if you record in front of people, because that's one thing that I do have a little bit of an issue with. And I know that seems really silly. I don't like attention and I don't like people looking at me. And even if it's my family, I'm not a big fan of recording in front of people. And generally, most of the time, I have time where I'm alone, but it has not worked out that way lately. So that's just one of several issues. But yeah, today we're gonna do a quick farm tour and then introduce you to the sheep that we got. So I'm really excited to share that. I've also had a couple people ask a really relevant question, is what is the plan, or what are the plans for the sheep? And we have zero interest in eating them. Don't plan on that being part of the goal in the future. The sheep that we got are Hampshire cross. I have, a really big obsession with all things the English countryside, and I think that they'll be really beautiful out on the pasture. And I also think it'll just be a great way for us to help maintain the pasture and do something with it other than just mow it and bush hog it constantly. I do understand that it will be work also, but I'm excited. We're also working out how we want the pasture fencing layout to look. But if all goes well and we like them and we feel like we're doing them justice by taking good care of them, because that's my fears that, they'll have some kind of illness or something and I'm not gonna know what to do. So we're gonna ease into it. We got 4 lambs. They were born in March and it's currently June, so they're 12 weeks old, give or take. And yeah, it's already been a big learning curve. It's really hot out. There is shade where they're at. I don't want to ramble too much. I'm just really excited. We have something to put over there on the other side of the farm. I feel like that area just gets really neglected. And I know I mentioned this before, but we do have those 2 silos over there that our goal is to turn them into Airbnb, like cabin rentals. Yeah, we're not planning on eating the sheep. Somebody asked me what the long-term goal was, and they're just gonna be probably high maintenance lawn mowers that look cute. But if all goes well, we're thinking about trying to get a ram. I think that if we do well with them, then getting a ram won't be an issue. We're just gonna see how it goes. We're not trying to get too far ahead of ourselves on that. I also failed to introduce you guys to the geese. So we're not new to geese. We had geese at our old house, but we ended up getting a few Toulouse geese from our local Tractor Supply. That wasn't a plan. My husband went in there and spotted them. We love having the geese. I don't know if any of you have watched the beginning of the patio makeover series, and if you haven't, I encourage you to go back and just watch that first video that I did. However, I have not fully accomplished everything on that to-do list, but we have finished painting the ceiling blue, and we did go with a color called Atmospheric by Sherwin-Williams. I'm really happy with that because I had a lot of concerns that that ceiling color would reflect and create like a blue hue inside this room. I like blue, but I'm not wanting our whole family to look like Smurfs while we're eating and while I'm cooking dinner. So that color does not reflect, and I'm really happy with that. And then you can see the light fixtures. So those light fixtures were not originally blue. I did purchase them online from Lowe's, and I had a couple things that I really wanted. I wanted a lantern style light that did not have any glass, and I wanted that kind of bow detail. I can't remember what that's called. Gosh. So I ordered those, and they were kind of not my style, distressed looking, and I scuffed them lightly and found a really nice, I think it was a French blue spray paint. I'll try to link that below for that paint color. I've seen lights like this on several different websites, and they're usually anywhere between $500 and $1,000. These lights, I think they were $80 a piece, so I got a really good deal on them. And then I just took them apart and painted those sections, and then we put them back together. I wasn't really sure if I was happy with the chain being white, but the chain and then that disc, the part that goes on the ceiling, I just think it looks more natural if it's a light color. I didn't want to do all that black, so I can always change that later on, but I'm really happy. I think they look really high end, and I think in general I am working towards that look that I was going for. I also did find a set of wicker patio furniture on Facebook Marketplace from somebody here in our town, so I was really excited. I think I got the whole set for $300, and it did include the cushions that are on there. I'm not happy with the color of them, but they are in good condition. There's a fabric store that is about 30 minutes away who has an in-house upholstery person. They do a lot of outdoor cushions, and I'm gonna have them recover them, but I haven't committed to exactly what fabric I wanna use. So I think that I wanna live with them right now and just see how everything goes. But I'm really, really happy. I like the fact that they are wood, like they're unpainted wicker. And when I brought them home, which I actually knew the people that were selling them and their house was clean, I wasn't concerned, but they were dusty. So I did take quite a bit of time cleaning them with a little bit of Windex and a little bit of Dawn mixed in a lot of water. So just like, it was like a teaspoon of each and a couple gallon bucket of water. And I did go through and clean them really well. And then I did a coat of linseed oil on every piece on the wood because they are outside. It does stay pretty much completely dry right there. We did have one random rainstorm where the wind blew from a weird direction, and they did get misted a little bit, but for the most part they are staying completely dry. And we will be taking them and putting them in the garage over the winter. So sometime in November, around that first frost date, we'll take all that, we'll put it in the garage, and we'll keep it up in there until probably early spring, like sometime in March or April. And that way, during that nastiest season of the year, they'll be out of the elements and not having any concern of mold or mildew, because I do want to take care of them. And the linseed oil will help with that as well. You can also see from right there the Annabelle hydrangeas that I had planted last year, and I'm really happy with how they look. They do bloom really early, and those bloom heads will stay on there, and if I want to let them dry out, and you can see, I think you can see behind me, I've cut a few over here. Let me grab these. So I did put these in some water, but I'm just letting that evaporate, and these will dry out really, really well, and I can use them in flower arrangements. And I have a few from last year. Let me grab those that I have in this copper container that I have on the mantle, and you can see kind of their final form once they get dried out, and I love the way they look. So let me pull these out. They're kind of delicate, but not terribly so, and they just look really nice in a floral arrangement. And the fact that you have them fresh, you can bring them in the house and enjoy them, and then when they dry out completely, I mean, these will last forever. This one has shrank a little bit, but the reason I cut these off is because this is absolutely huge. I don't know if you can tell, but this is massive hydrangea. Blooms But still, you can go from this to this and then use them in flower arrangements, wreaths, for free. You don't have to treat them with anything or do anything crazy to them, so I love it. The ones that I have in the vase behind me though, they're actually from the plants up front. I did not cut any. I think I'm gonna leave these that are in the back to dry and leave them on the plant, and that way they'll add some winter interest. I'll try to find some pictures, but they look really neat when you leave them on the plant. And then in late winter, so probably sometime in January or February, I'll just go through and trim those off. Usually you want to do that when you see the first signs of growth. So on these types of hydrangeas, that's what you want to do. If you have different types of hydrangeas, so like the panicle hydrangeas with the longer heads, or the ones with like the blue and purple, I have to look that up. But for this type, the Annabelle or like the Incredible hydrangeas, you can trim them right when you first see the first signs of growth. So I just like on that stem, you just see like where it's swollen a little bit. And that's when you can go through and kind of shape that up, and you can decide if you want to bring them down. But I want these to get huge. I hope over the next few years we have just like a giant wall. These will get about 5 feet tall, and I hope to have 5 foot tall giant hydrangeas right here, and that's what I'm looking at. But yeah, I love how everything is turning out, and I'm trying to remember if there's anything else that I wanted to talk to y'all about, because when I go outside it's gonna be hot as all get out, and it just makes it really hard. Oh, I know what I want to talk about is the lattice that we have put along the top of the back porch veranda area, and I really love it. I'm obsessed with a lot of the Kips Bay design homes. I love a lot of those outdoor spaces, and a lot of them have kind of like a Mediterranean Hamptons vibe, I don't know, with a lot of textures and colors, and I think that it makes the spaces just look really expensive. And this lattice was a really small investment, so we did opt to go with the vinyl lattice. We did pre-paint that with the same color as the ceiling, that Atmospheric by Sherwin-Williams, and then we just used our brad nailer to hang them up. So really small holes. If we ever want to pop them off, it's not going to cause a lot of damage. And yeah, they're lightweight because they're vinyl. They're never going to rot. I think all in all it was less than $100 to do the lattice. The columns, we have got 1 coat of paint on there. We ran out of that exterior white, and if you see anything else white that needs to be touched up, that's why I need to go get another 5-gallon bucket of that paint, and I just haven't done it yet because I haven't had time. While I'm mentioning indoor things, I really would like to talk to you guys about some antiques that I picked up on a recent trip to Chattanooga. I did not vlog during that trip. It was a family trip, and I just decided that I wanted to spend time with family. But we did end up going to the best antique store that we've ever been to, I loved it. It was absolutely great. I highly recommend if you're in the Chattanooga area. The antique store was called The Refinery on McCallie, 1300 McCallie Avenue, and I loved this place. I picked up a couple things on the trip. Not everything I got was there, but I did pick up this little wooden footstool. I really wanted this to use while I'm editing. And the next day, we went to another antique store and I found this one. So this one is a little bit older. I like this cross stitch pattern. And if you see here, it does have these flathead screws. So I'm not an antique expert, but I'm pretty sure this one is actually a lot older. Neither one of these were very expensive, and I do plan on using them. I do have a phobia of bugs in my house. So this is the first time they've actually came into the house. They have been in the garage. I did get a can of like crazy bed bug spray, and I've treated them like 3 times just to make sure that there's nothing inside that upholstery. I'm not quite so concerned about non-upholstered items, but anything with fabric on it like that, I make sure that I treat really well. And the other thing I got, I'm going to really quickly take y'all into the pantry because I've got that in there. I guess we'll switch cameras real quick and we'll head into the pantry. I don't know how this vlog is gonna turn out. It may be total trash. Watch, this will be the one that everybody likes. I've tried to clean up the house recently as well as possible and get the kids to help me, but they're home and just everything's crazy. So this chair Found this at the refinery that I mentioned. I really could not pass this one up because I've seen these before. They're usually more pricey or they're already sold. But it's a step ladder. Can you see that? Look how cute. And it's legitimately like usable. I have been using it in here and I love it. So I'm really thrilled with that, and it fits really, really well in this corner of the pantry. I'm gonna try to work on getting some hooks over here so that when school starts back, the kids have somewhere to keep their bags. But isn't that sweet? I just love it. The last thing that I picked up was a set of 4 coffee mugs, and let me grab one real quick. So it is this whole pottery in the green color. I believe this color is called avocado, and I didn't even know this color existed until my aunt was showing me at her house. She has some, like, I think there were soup bowls, but I love the color. It was like 3 or 4 days later, we were in Chattanooga and I saw these sitting on the shelf. They weren't very expensive and I had to get them. So super excited about that. I love them so much. So yeah, a lot of fun. I went ahead and pulled my hair back and put some shoes on. Let's head outside. So when we purchased the house, there was absolutely no grass in front of the house. It was mainly all dirt. So we're really, really proud of how far this has come, especially because we haven't really seeded or fertilized at all. We've just tried to water it when it was the most dry last year and then kind of keep it mowed at a reasonable height. And it's allowed it to green up. And then I guess probably the most important thing we've done is to keep the leaves off the hill because they were just allowed to sit there. And it is a lot of work, but I think it's worth it. We're gonna head over and see the sheep. So I've changed clothes because it is inexplicably hot. The heat index is well over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, but I was soaking wet. I had to blow dry my hair, I was so sweaty. If you've watched many of my vlogs, you might be familiar with this area. I feel like in the video, it may not do it justice because things are starting to kind of blend together when you have this green backdrop. But this archway we added has this wisteria growing on it, and it's already made it a little over halfway. It just kind of took off in the last few weeks, so I'm really happy with that. It is just really nice. I've got this table set up and I'm kind of just making it feel like a little garden room. I'm pretty thrilled with all this and I just really appreciate you watching today's vlog. I hope you enjoyed. We'll see you next time. Bye guys.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna tell you the sheep's name. Basil, number 41. Emerald, number 28. Annabelle, aka Belle, number 38. Pepper, aka Ghost Pepper, number 27. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, ring the bell.